Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, my name is Nurul Malikhah. My ID number is 23030190026. Okay, today I will presentation about my PPT of journal in the subject critical thinking reading. Okay, I'm choose this journal because I'm very interesting with this journal, and the title of my journal is The Ability of Islamic Boarding School Student in Facing the Digital Literacy Era with Critical Thinking Reading. Okay, in the next slide is introduction. This introduction explains the summary of this journal and the introduction of this journal. Okay, in this introduction contain about the level of education in Indonesia is still relatively low with a score of 41.5 compared to other countries. At the moment, Indonesia is focused on literacy. The result of research conducted by PIRLS on grade 4 students from 45 developed and developing countries, with Indonesia ranked 41. Literacy skills are still weak is reflective of the government's need for education. To tackle this problem of literacy requires cooperation and coordination from different parties, including state, universities, student parents, community, educator, and student, of course. Today, advances in information technology or IT and the internet have resulted in an abundance of digital information resources. Technological developments are bringing about improvements to workplace training and skills. This is, of course, required today, and how pesantren or Islamic boarding school can keep up with global technology development today. So, the focus of this research is how well-known scholars in religious studies can be prepared and strategically to read classical books. Okay, in the next slide is theoretical framework. In this journal, have 4 theoretical framework, including first, how is the ability to read and write classical Arabic, and 2, what are student learning skills, 3, what needs to be considered in critical thinking, and the last is how to apply digital methods in literacy. Okay, in the next slide is method. This work uses literature analysis to examine the result and use the approach to phenomenology to see the growth of students in several internships in South Kalimantan. This methodology is used to see the growth of student learning programs with face-to-face classical and secular studies in several Islamic boarding schools, and to see the potential they need to be ready in the future. Okay, in the next slide is data presentation and analysis. Ability to read and write classical Arabic. Among the various components of basic literacy, researchers concentrate on basic literacy, namely the ability to listen, speak, read, compose, and measure analytical abilities to calculate, plan data, communicate, and explain information based on personal understanding and education. It is important to have critical thinking skill because it will see what is going on. Critical thinking can be applied in making decisions. By practicing critical thinking continuously will make a person more rational and improve analytical skill. Based on research observation data on literacy in an Islamic boarding school, it can be seen from the literacy media applied in an Islamic boarding school in Indonesia. This research focuses on the advancement of educational technology through video, internet, or the use of Google in Islamic boarding school. This research does not only involve the children of the Islamic boarding school, but also the coordination of the school, teachers, parents of students, the environment around the Islamic boarding school, the caregivers of the Islamic boarding school, and others. Through this study, the students were given the freedom to use technology media to develop literacy skill. From this, it can be seen that how many students understand literacy in this digital era. This research does not only focus on understanding technology, but can also find out how critically thinking about digital literacy is. Understanding of literacy can also develop a critical thinking skill. This study is also to measure the percentage level of education in Indonesia, which is still relatively low, which is still ranked 39 out of 40 other countries. Okay, in the next slide is conclusion. This is conclusion on this journal. The purpose of this research is to provide general knowledge and implementation in Islamic boarding school about digital literacy. Educators can use a mix of modern and Arabic traditional books to introduce literacy in the digital era. Students' ability to think critically through the Kelvin Seward learning process can at least improve basic literacy compared to the 21 country in writing and scientific thinking. The implementation of digital era literacy must be done continuously and adapt to the development of students. The research concentrates on one main material for track and places it in technology media literacy in various Islamic boarding schools in Indonesia. The research also focused on technological advances in video education in Islamic boarding school on the internet or on Google. Thank you. And the next or the last presentation is comment. I think this research is very interesting because it is rare for anyone to examine the use of technology in understanding literacy in the world of Islamic boarding school. Okay, I think enough. Thanks for your attention. I'm so sorry if I have a mistake at I'm presentation. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.